Hello, and thank you for coming again to these sessions. The I Am today talks about ascension, ET contact, higher perspective, and conspiracy theories. I will begin reading now. I am here as we are. And again, I thank you for this connection. I understand you have been feeling the emotional pull to be away from the energies here on this 3D earth. I understand the impatience that comes up periodically. But for this level that you are, you do not dwell on these things. And now I know you understand better why you were not aware of these higher things so much. These of what is to come, the joy, the beauty, the creativity, the tranquility, the amazing unconditional love and positive energy that exists outside this 3D reality. And I appreciate that even in that understanding, you always come back to the choice of you being here as a human, helping other humans, especially the light beings, helping to activate their awareness of what they came for. For you already know that at this time, at any time, you could leave. But you are here because each day you choose to be here through your free will. And I thank you for that. And I thank all the other light beings for that. There are some new difficulties affronting you from some of these humans, although these are not direct negative conflicts for you, as there will be none of those. But there are repercussions from their pushing themselves, and that again pushes another, as a domino effect. But in your awareness, you stop that final effect on yourself. You are using your knowing and even your healing for these countermeasures, shall we call them. And even though the entities, the beings that come into your sessions of teaching are indeed light beings to be activated, and they have been light beings for all along, and already fulfilling their purpose, but for their awareness and their joy and their additional protection, they are being activated in that awareness, the knowingness to the level that they can receive it. There are still those that will try to come in and negate the positive, but they cannot. For adjustments will be made so the light is not interrupted. My will, my power is not and will never be interrupted. And this ascension and every step that is necessary will be fulfilled. I would have you feel the joy of this, in that knowing of this and the reminder that each of them will have their own level of joy and their level of awareness, but each will ascend that choose to ascend. And these light beings that you influence in your teachings will fulfill their purpose. And those that attempt to stop this, it is their own pushing against themselves, their own battle within themselves. And you are not here to specifically spend time with their healing, but rather that light energy that I am, the pure light of communication, which we have discussed before. I am there in them, for them as well. Some that push harder against themselves, and it is again that pushing, I remind you, that will allow them to reach their goal, but in their own time. And out of that force that is trying to negate your light, for I am you, and you are me, and your light is the most powerful light in existence. And there are those humans who actually come for and protect this mission that takes place even in the teachings that you are doing, and the others there that are healers. And I remind you that those teachings that you have are also part of the healing, and you being a healer. I will be sending more light beings to you. As you have noticed now, began that one awareness of extraterrestrial family, shall we say. And I say this, I send them to you as I send them to each of your children of the I Am. I have of the light level each of you are on. That activation is for them to discuss this new awareness, as you have referred to it, of the extraterrestrial beings. For the confirmation will come. They will see. They will know, and they will not have the fear. They will influence others to have no fear, but rather to have another different kind of perception and connection. Some will have a welcoming even. And again I say, these are my benevolent children. And there are no negatives of any entity or any energy that will stop this ascension process, the positive awakening, this evolution of humans, including those that by free will are choosing not to go to this next level. Again, I remind you, they will still have that amount of light that will get them through the experiences to come. There is much coming soon, a human soon, in this releasing of the awareness of the extraterrestrial presence, the other members of the family, and the fact that they are the family. For now there is more energy going into, from all humans, that collective consciousness, that awareness on the level that is being activated in the collective consciousness of the light beings. And now the humans that have had their light activated, even those humans in the lesser choices, there is that awareness of the thought process of, the connecting to, the conscious connection of, and that will bring the signal for the extraterrestrials to begin to expose and show themselves and connect themselves in very subtle ways, as it has already begun. And increasing the awareness so the humans are aware to be able to accept more of the knowledge that they will bring, just in their very presence, for the awareness of their existence is a big shock to many humans. But the higher awareness of their benevolence and their positive intent and purpose is also part of the change that is taking place in the delivery from these negative energies that humans fear. Not the enlightened ones, of course, but the activation of fear is going to be in those that do not have the full awareness of the light being consciousness of their higher selves. These will be activated. And in that coming together and demanding more knowledge from those already in the knowing, such as the governments, militaries, for all of those awarenesses, in other words, some of those conspiracy theories that have now become more fact than fiction, this knowledge will begin to come out, and there will be those new waves of negative energies trying to silence this light. But it is that light that is going to expose and heal that darkness that is coming out to try to defend itself. All the dark wolves, shall we say, will be enfolded in the light, and it shall be blinding to them indeed. It will help them to make choices of their free will, which will help them to evolve to the next level of choice. There are many that will have lower level of choice, but that is their own journey and choice experience. That is not a concern for the light beings and even the other humans. That is a separate issue with those children of mine. So as you see these light and dark as a battle almost, yet I tell you this, it is not a battle. It is not a war. It is a healing. And everyone in those lower frequencies will see a war, a negative, a battle, because that is what they are used to seeing things as. But that higher perspective, the enlightened ones know and feel, will be that healing that is taking place, and that part of that knowing of the light wolf and the dark wolf will be part of the essence of their understanding of what is happening. From that highest level, my intentions, my highest purpose, from the promise I have given and am fulfilling, I understand the difficulty of this time for you, and in communicating this without them seeing on those levels of human conception, of conceiving ideas as being religion, or even the spiritual, for some is a bit much. But I say this, you have my permission. You have my flowing coming through you, and in that flowing it is protected by any negative that would try to stop it from editing, shall we say, of what you are teaching, always bringing back into the fullness of that connecting with nature, for nature represents all that is, and is that all that is, which we will help them to understand this higher concept, this beingness, this oneness with all that is, this healing that is taking place, that light and dark, and the oneness that is in the real balance of these two. It is the balance of these two that is in that beingness, that oneness of nature, that they must understand. For in many, many ways they are still connected to that simple human side, which they are evolving out of the past into their winged light being self. For wings are that metaphor of that lifting up and flying above in that highest understanding of, as that eagle does versus the birds, in that understanding of the highest truth. And already they have begun to feel the comfort of this higher truth. Even without the full understanding of the awakening, they are feeling that everything is going to be okay. They are feeling that they are indeed evolving through understanding. They feel the comfort, the anticipation, and the joy of this within themselves. And as you tell them they do not need you for this, they are further empowered in themselves in this, as you tell them they influence others in this. That is a higher truth, that is a truth they will indeed find for themselves and realize for themselves that that seed is implanted in their awakening. So your teachings are evolving, and you are succeeding as all of the light beings teaching on the levels that they exist. And they teach, and all these levels are being received. And you, again, I remind you, are one of the few handful that are indeed of that higher level of empowering, that higher level of energy and connection, and that powerful vibrational effect of all the light beings and that handful. That is part of the fulfilling of their higher purpose and the basic knowing of the strength of this awakening. You are part of that, and you will succeed in that. And you are, despite your recent doubts and wanderings, and even mild, shall we say, depression of. So do question these things of yourself, but it is the I am that we are, and there is nothing, not one moment, not one person, with any negative intention that are going to have any effect on you whatsoever. For you and I are one, as are the others on the level that you are. And there is nothing that dulls any of this light or slows down the frequency that flows through you, and the intention, and the power, and the fulfilling of my will. For I am, and we are, and this ascension is happening, and is imminent, and is coming extremely soon. So enjoy this transformation of observing it, and each of these entities, these children of mine, that they are evolving, and the joy I feel as that father and that mother, and the earth as she heals, and all that happens. Go into your knowing and your highest self, and in your sharing that, there is that joy and comfort and that knowingness of what is beyond and above these experiences. For many will not be experiencing the negative, the pain, the confusion, the doubts, but will be in full oneness. And everything I have said will come, will not only come, but it has already begun here. Everything that I said will be, is. For we are in that now. That now is full transformation. Feel that energy, energized with that unconditional love power that we are. And I will end this session now, reminding you, for I cannot remind you enough, that I am and we are, and you are. And so I am so very, very thankful to you for coming this time. And you are so very, very loved.